What we're going to be working on now is a procedural turn in place control rig. So what this will allow us to do is with any given character, when we rotate the character around within the viewport or in the game, it will automatically adjust the legs so that it turns one leg at a time and faces a new direction. Now in the first section, it was quite organized and it's something that I'd practiced and gone through before. Whereas in this section, what we're going to do, it's going to be a bit more exploratory and it's going to be new to me as well. So there might be some things where I have to go back and change things or do things slightly wrong and tweak them. But this should show you the real process behind actually making some control rig based on some concept that you've got. So normally when you're doing procedural animation, you don't exactly know the best approach to take. You might have to try things out, redo things. So that's what I'll be showing here. And because I'm doing it that way, I'll be going through it a little bit faster, so I won't be explaining every single thing in detail, but just try to give you a general overview of what my goal is. But I would suggest that if you're feeling confident about understanding procedural animation and control rig at this point, and maybe if you've got some experience and background with programming or animation in general, you might want to attempt to do this for yourself to make the procedural turn in place. So hopefully, if this goes successfully, you'll be seeing now an edited in version of the control rig where it's turning in place, which I haven't seen yet because I've not made it in this timeline. But wow, look at how great that looks. It looks so realistic. What you should be trying to do, if you have that experience or if you feel confident, is to try to attempt to do this for yourself and figure out the process and come up with a concept of how you'll be able to do this, and then try to execute it and get stuck on it, have breakdowns over trying to figure out certain elements and why it's not working. And if you do manage to get it all to work, you'll learn a lot more from trying it on your own and then coming and watching these videos and seeing maybe how I did it, and you might get some ideas where maybe yours is lacking and not quite as good, or maybe I've done things in a more efficient way that you didn't think of, or maybe your way is going to be better, but we're not sure yet. So what I would recommend is giving it a try for yourself if you think you can. And I wouldn't expect people who, if this is their first time doing procedural animation with this course, to be able to create a system like this because it's quite complicated. And we haven't covered every single thing in detail that you're going to need, although we have covered a lot of the fundamentals. But it might be worthwhile just trying for yourself as a learning exercise. And then once you do get stuck, if you get stuck, you can come back and watch the video and see how I solved that problem that you had, or maybe completely avoided the problem by going with a different overall general concept of the way I'm approaching it. But feel free to try it out for now. So the starting point, whether you're following along directly or not, is if you go to the tutorial content folder, there's a folder called Turn in Place Character. So within this turn in place character folder, there's a turn in place character blueprint. And if you open the level, so in the tutorial content folder, there'll be a level called Turn in Place Test Level. If you open this up and play in the viewport, you should be controlling the third person character. And there's no animation. So you're just rotating around and the character moves. And if you don't have that for some reason, just click on the blueprint class dropdown and you can go to the world override and make sure the game mode is set to turn in place game mode, because this is using the turn in place character pawn. So once you have that, you'll see that the turn in place character is using the turn in place anim BP. And this has a idle animation plugged into control rig. So what we want to do is create a control rig for this character and set it as a control rig class. So to do that, what you can do is you can open the turn in place character, click on the mesh, and you'll see that I'm using the SKM Quinn Simple, but you can use any mesh that you want. If you click on the magnifying glass icon, it will open up the actual mesh in the content browser, and you can right click on this and do create control rig. So I'm going to call this new turn in place, and you can call yours whatever you want. I'm going to just drag this into the turn in place character folder. And now in the animation blueprint that I've already set up called turn in place anim BP, select the control rig node and select the turning place, so mine's new turning place. So we select that control rig class. And now everything that you should be doing will be within this new turning place, in my case, or whatever you've named yours, within this control rig. So have fun trying to figure out how to do that, and I will, in the next video, start to explain how I'm going to approach it. So you can either start now and try to attempt it for yourself, or you can just listen to the concept that I'm going to approach it with and follow along with the way that I'm doing it. So best of luck if you decide to do that. Don't expect to be able to do it first time and just instantly. This could take some time. You'll probably get stuck on a few elements, but have fun with it and see if you can at least figure out some approximation of what I've made here.